Yes? Yes. All
Yes,
right. We
live.
are back, everyone. We are live again. Good afternoon. I can't believe the time just passed so fast. It's 12:30. I feel like these days, the days just like fly by and it's kind of scary. But I want to welcome all of you guys to our afternoon session. Everyone, I think if I can ask all our guests to just mute themselves right now so that we don't have an echo, that would be great. Thank you all for coming and joining us again. Thank you for all the people who joined us for the morning session. We're really, really happy that you're with us. And let us know who's here. We can, keep going and chatting in the Facebook app as well. So let us know who's here. And if you guys have any questions and comments and concerns, this afternoon session is going to be, what did we title it, Sarah? We titled it
Friends in Faith.
in Faith. That's right. So really, it's just an afternoon of getting to know who the SCIC is, who's our board, who are these individuals that are putting their time and their effort and their energy, making sure that the SCIC is running effectively and that we are doing great, good things. And so it's really a session where we kind of get to know a little bit about SCIC as well as our board members. And of course, like the last session, we'll have a dance of this time. This time, what are we having? Do we know, Sarah? What are we having this time?
I don't remember. I'm looking forward to being surprised.
We'll maybe get a surprise by Cheryl. So
Samba.
keep. Oh, the rumba.
Samba, yes.
Samba, the samba. All right. So we'll have that, and we'll have another little gift of gratitude for us and appreciation to our supporters. So Sarah, let's start this. Let's talk about our board. Oh, you know what, Sarah, before that, I'm going to give a little update. Thank you so much for those who are continuing to support us. We so appreciate it. Right now, it looks like we have $13,965, which is fantastic. So our goal is that 15,000. We would be elated to surpass that goal as well. We passed our first one, which was 10,000. Please remember that you have until midnight tonight to make your contribution. You just go on longbeachgives.org, and in the little find nonprofit, you put South Coast Interfaith Council and you'll find our page right there. So thank you. And Sarah, let's begin. What are we gonna, let's learn about our board, huh?
Oh, I'm so excited, and I feel so thrilled that I was entrusted to come up with some very important questions. All of these questions relate to the South Coast Interfaith Council and governance of nonprofits.
Oh, yes.
Okay?
Oh, yes.
So we have, let's see, aside from myself, we have 6 board members present, and we're actually on gallery view. So when I say your name, you can wave, and everybody in Facebook land can meet you. Marilyn, we have Marilyn Biddle. We have Susan Brooks. We have Richard Brehove, Ron Nelson, Marietta Fong, with her special guest, Kenji. Hi, Kenji.
Oh my God. Just want to, so
yeah, he's our VIP today. And Patty Heckman.
Yay.
Okay, so first question for you guys. Given our experience now in this pandemic, we've gotten a little bit of practice for a future apocalypse.
Oh.
So I am wondering, if you found yourself in the middle of an apocalypse, given what you've learned about yourself, what is the one thing you would keep with yourself? If you could only take one thing with you to survive an apocalypse, what would that thing be? Who wants to go first?
Not everyone at once. Not everyone at once.
Kenji ran away.
No.
Okay, Marietta.
Apocalypse, that means the end of the world, right? If I could take anything?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I actually don't need anything. I mean, if you're taking something, some physical type of thing, I don't think I need anything if I know that the apocalypse is like now. I really don't need anything material at all.
Would you take us with you? The Interfaith Council, right? That's the thing.
Take you guys, yes.
Hurt our feelings,
But
Richard.
talking about something material, I don't think I need anything.
Marietta, I saw, and then Marilyn after Marietta.
Well, I'm assuming we're going to be stuck like on an island or a mountain or something for a while. That's probably the purpose of the question. So, I need to take something to read, and I suppose the thing I would take would be my Bible. Why not, right? There's wisdom for the ages, there's poetry, there's history, there's song. It's got everything you need.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Marietta. Marilyn, you're muted.
So there was this article that's
I take my faith and my Bible.
What was the first one that you mentioned?
Take my faith.
Aw, very
And
sweet.
my
What about your dog? You have the sweetest dog.
yes,
I do.
yes.
I'm deathly afraid of dogs, except for Marilyn's dog, who is the sweetest dog I've ever encountered.
She is sweet.
Yeah. Anyone else planning for an apocalypse? Ron.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I would take my wife
Oh, that's sweet, Rob.
and then I would take my baseball glove.
There you go.
What are you gonna do with your baseball glove? Awesome. So Ron, are you playing catch with your wife? Is that what's happening?
Oh, she's better than I am.
Okay. Now, if you could only take, well, Ron's kind of answered this.
Wait,
We've
can I answer it
Yeah,
too? Okay,
sure.
so yes, of course, I would take the Quran because I feel like I mean, I would take it sincerely. Not that I just have to say that, but then I'd also take my Netflix subscription because the pandemic, it's time is flying by, but at the same time, you're at home all the time and there's work to do, but you need something for distraction as well. And that has certainly helped in my effort to sometimes kind of declutter my hair, my head, and just Freudian slip, right? The hair is a mess underneath the scarf. But I think, just to kind of just to relax. So if there was a way that I could do that, I think I would appreciate it. Of course, that would come after taking family and all that other good stuff too. So yes.
I showed this to Milia. During the pandemic, I've created a secret chocolate stash in my closet. Remember, Milia showed you? And you cannot see it. If you enter my closet, you have to know exactly where to park the clothes. And it's tucked in a corner. Nobody knows in my family. Hopefully nobody's watching this from my family at any rate. Okay, so we've all been trapped in our houses, which is actually something to be grateful for. All of us have had roofs over our head and food at the table, which is a wonderful thing. But we have spent a lot of time with our family members. And we might be realizing that some family members and friends are more tolerable or more fun to be around. Who's the one person, if you could only pick one person to spend the apocalypse with, who would be that one person? Marilyn, you're not muted. Did you want to share?
I would share, I would take my daughter.
The good daughter.
Yeah, she's a good daughter and I can talk to her easily and we get along well. And so, yeah, I would take her.
That is so sweet. Thank you, Marilyn. Susan.
Yeah, I think I'd have to skip over my kids and take my granddaughter with me because she'd keep me busy and entertained the whole time. She's 4 years old.
Oh, what's her name again, Susan?
Olivia.
Olivia. So it would be Susan and Olivia sitting on an island somewhere. Anyone else have thoughts about who they would want to have on? Oh, Patty.
Well, as much as we get on each other's nerves, I have to say my husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, your husband is a gem.
I'm sorry?
I said your husband is a gem.
Yeah. He has a way of entertaining himself. So I don't have to be, the object of his, only entertainment or whatever. And then also when we are together, we end up talking like deep stuff. I don't know, philosophy and that kind of stuff, which of course, I like that kind of a conversation. So it's my husband.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
Aw. Millie, did you share one already? No, you haven't. How are you gonna
Yeah.
pick?
Who would it? Gosh, I mean, of course. Gosh, I don't know who I would not take, especially in regards to family. But I have a little daughter, and I think I can't imagine life without her. So I would definitely take Zahra and a big bottle of bubbles because she loves bubbles, and maybe a little water play station because she loves water. And I couldn't do it without my husband though. So I think I'd take Zahra and my husband and my mom and my dad and my brother and my cousin in there.
Like cheating. You're not following the rules at all, Amelia.
Like, that's a hard question.
You guys are totally cheating, totally.
I know it's a hard question though. I don't know. Well, I mean, Ron would be there with his baseball gloves, so Arfan can play, catcher. I'm not that sports inclined, or do
So
whatever.
we're all in the apocalypse together. Is that what's happening now? That's nice. I love that.
Exactly.
Would we still have to fundraise? That's my big question.
Yeah, we would.
Before you start fundraising, I would be there with my daughter because she knows me best and has the longest period of time than anybody right now. And my brother passed away about 2 years ago, and I really truly miss him. So I'd be looking for him.
Oh,
Oh, Ron, that is so sweet.
that's really sweet, Ron.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a great. Is there someone? This is not one of the fun questions I prepared, but on that note, is there someone that you dream about being reunited with one day on the other side, or however your faith tradition? So, for example, for myself, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was my favorite person in the entire universe, and she died within 24 hours of my daughter being born. It was a very challenging time, but I still wait to dream about her at night so I can, she's a person I long to be with again. Who else has someone that they think about and hope to see again soon? Well, not too soon, but Marietta, do you want to share with us?
It would be really hard to choose, but I have to say I would just be joyful to be with my son again. Yeah,
I hope I would get to meet your son too.
I think that would be wonderful. That
Oh
would
no,
be
we're all in this together. So
Yeah.
where one person is going, the rest of the board is going with them. So
absolutely, yeah.
that's how I think. So yeah, can't get rid of me that quick, man.
Yeah, great reunion someday, huh?
It's definitely.
Richard, did you want to share? I see that you unmuted yourself.
Oh yeah, I looking forward to being with my late wife again.
Oh,
Um,
Terry.
It's been 3 years, almost exactly 3 years. So I'm looking forward to being with her again.
Yeah, we love Terry. We love Terry, and we're looking forward to that too.
Oh, that's right, Milia. You knew Terry, right?
Absolutely, she was always there, and she's not only a great physician, but she's someone who served. She worked in Venice, and she served the those who really needed help, those who were in the streets, and people who came into the clinic. And she was one of those kind of unsung heroes. I didn't know she was a physician. I didn't know she was doing all these great things until, I don't know, it was for one of the programs. Richard was our president and board member before, and I think he was emceeing one of our events. And so I was introducing him. So, I go and Google and do some research, and then boom, 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 Terry came up, and I was like, well, look at that, so definitely Richard. She is missed. And,
Yeah,
but
she left a legacy. Thanks.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's serving some people up there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does anyone else want to share? Marilyn?
I would share my daughter's father. I'm anxious to see him. It's been so many years, and he died suddenly and way too young. So I would love to see him as we grow older. And but the other husbands I could forget about.
Marilyn.
So that is something I think about, in the afterlife. For those of us that believe in an afterlife, do we necessarily spend it with the same spouse that we had on earth? And if you had multiple spouses, do you get to pick Any ideas or thoughts on this?
That's getting way too deep into philosophy. That's like a graduate course right there, Sarah. I would caution you before we start answering that.
Marilyn
Okay, I could,
has a choice in mind, but what if one of your other spouses wants to be with you? I don't know how that works.
Oh, I hope not.
Okay,
Okay.
I feel like I need to interfere right now, and so let's change the topic to something else. So, friends, why
what
are you on our board? Sorry.
What something really surprising that you learned about yourself in this pandemic? We've
That's
all had to dig really deep and discovered parts of ourselves that we may never come across. We spent a lot of time with ourselves this last few months. Oh, Ron, you're muted.
Ron, feel free to unmute yourself, Ron. Oh, still muted, my friend.
I'm in now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss going to meetings.
Oh,
It's seeing people, being with people. That's really strange and unusual for me.
You are saying, I just want to make sure this correctly. You miss our 3.5 hour board meetings. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, but why can't they be 5? We could go longer, huh?
who's taking notes? Who's taking notes so that we have this in record?
Only when we can get together in person again and you all come over to my house and stay as long as you want, okay?
Aw, right, Marietta, we were supposed to have our retreat in your home during the spring. We're gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And especially if Kenji can be there and Ayumi.
Yes.
They can be the co-hosts. Who else? What's something that's really surprised you guys about your own selves?
I miss the hugs.
Oh,
I miss hugging people, especially all of you.
You are a good Lutheran.
Susan.
I've learned how to grow my plants and even some of my own food without killing it. I've never had that patience before.
All right.
What have you grown? What have you successfully grown and consumed?
We haven't consumed it yet. It's almost there, but my granddaughter and I did a hydroponic tower garden, and we have Bibb lettuce and chard and tomatoes and cucumbers and basil so far.
It's amazing.
I'm excited for you. I have a friend that grows her own vegetables too, and we had a salad at our house a few months ago. It was just romaine lettuce, but grown in her backyard. It tasted nothing like the grocery store romaine. Grocery store romaine just tastes like soggy water, but it was extraordinary.
Wow.
Hey, Kenji.
Hey, buddy. There's our future president. Hi.
And do you want to say hello, Marietta?
Say hi.
Kenji's like, I just want to press buttons. That's what I want to do. I don't want to say hello. Hey, Sarah, can I ask a question to the board?
Yeah.
Okay, so in all seriousness, when I look at who I'm looking at right now, I see Marilyn, who's Lutheran. I see Sarah, who's Muslim. I see Susan, who's Jewish. I see Richard, who's Catholic. Ron, who's Lutheran. Marietta, who's Methodist. I see Patty, who's SGI Buddhist. So obviously we espouse all of these various faith traditions. And you know, one of the things that people always ask me, and I'm still surprised, is do you feel like your faith is somehow watered down because of the fact that you're consciously choosing to engage in this organization that clearly respects all other faith traditions? We're not in the position, we're not trying to convert one another or, you know, say my God is better than your God, or my prophet is more handsome than your prophet, or, you know, anything like that, right? We meet each other where we are. And we celebrate the differences and we respect one another. But I wondered what your personal experience is, having been on the board. I know Marietta, Ron, Richard, you got Patty too. You guys have been on the board or somehow involved with the CIC for quite some time. Patty, Ron, Richard, and Marilyn, and then Marietta and Susan, you're more kind of our newbies. And so I'd love to hear about that. You know, why are you on this board and what motivates you to keep serving on the board? Because it's a lot of work. It's, you know, it takes time and effort. So I'd love to know that.
Well, I can say something about that for sure. First of all, has it my, experience as a Buddhist or my, willingness to carry on in my faith as a Buddhist been diluted or diminished in any way? Quite the opposite. My faith has been enriched by meeting all of you and learning about, how you approach faith. And I'm always so encouraged by the board members because, there's no doubt in my mind seeing how they approach the work of the council with such passion and earnesty that, their faith is so important to them. And then I feel humbled even, to be in your presence. And I learned so much about, the strength of faith from all of you. And then I can apply that, to my own faith. It's like I can think of, well, gosh, what did Marietta do in the face of the loss of her son? Or what did Milia do, to make sure that no matter what, her dream of having a family was going to come true. So all of that is just so enriching. And I stay on the council because I believe in the work, especially I believe in tolerance and inclusion. Those are very, very important in Buddhism as well, because the basic tenet of Buddhism is that we're all created equal.
And
Well, I think, Milia, that is a very, very good question that you posed. Excellent question. And I really like Patty's answer, and that's somewhat like my answer. I mean, does it water down my Catholic faith? I think just the opposite. I think I have become a more strong Catholic because of my relationship with an interfaith organization. First of all, you look at other faiths and what find out what they believe, and right away it turns out, okay, Richard, what do you believe? Okay, so now I'm no longer wishy-washy on some things. Now I see some people, okay, what do you believe? Now it forces me to think about my own faith, right? So I get stronger in my faith because I'm doing some more thinking about it. And then I see other faiths. I see faiths like Buddhism, which lets me know what kind of change I can make in the world. That's totally part of the Catholic faith. I look at like LDS, the Latter-day Saints, and I look at those people and I see dedication to family. Okay, well, that's definitely a Catholic trait. I should be, let's focus on family and not so much make work a second priority or third priority, and have my faith and my family be my first priority. So those kind of things you learn about when you see somebody like that. Christian Scientists, for example, they're all about the healing power of God, right? That's their focus. Well, do I believe in that? Sure, I do. I believe in the healing power of God. So why don't I focus more on that? Why don't I put healing power of God more primary when I'm doing my prayers, when I'm thinking about that, instead of thinking that I can do it all? I mean, so there's a lot of aspects that you can learn about your own faith, right? Just by watching other people, because Catholics, it's a narrow road. Catholics have a narrow road to heaven, right? It's not all paths lead to heaven. It's a very narrow road according to Catholic tradition. But that doesn't mean we have a monopoly on how to worship and how to live and how to treat, live your faith. Don't have a monopoly on that. So we can learn about that from other faiths. So the answer to it's a very excellent question, Amelia, and I think it makes my faith stronger. And I hope other people learn in interfaith groups, learn that to get in interfaith groups, and I think it doesn't water it down at all. Doesn't water down my faith at all.
It has made me so much more tolerant of different groups, different faith groups. I understand them so much better now. Does that water down my faith? It has enhanced my faith because I realize all the other faith groups and how they have brought so much social justice, equal justice into the world. And into our community, into the worldwide community. And I just, I relish in that.
Susan, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that, central to my Jewish faith are a couple of principles. One is welcoming the stranger and recognizing that this world isn't just for Jews and that we have to welcome and take care of everybody. And you can't welcome and take care of everybody unless you know them. We have to get to know one another. I think a lot of the problems right now going on with things in our society are because we don't know one another. We don't cross bridges. We have friends that are like us, not friends that we don't have friends that don't look like us or don't practice the same religion to the extent that we probably should. There's also principle in Judaism about studying and questioning everything. Jews are supposed to study in pairs at a bare minimum, and we're taught to question everything we're taught. And so, what better way to question than to hear other people's worldviews and how they pray, what they believe, what their faith is, to, like Richard said, to become stronger. And what really convinced me to come was, besides Sarah twisting my arm, was knowing that, the outside of the Christian faith, a lot of people in America don't really understand the other faiths. They understand Christianity in the broad sense, but they don't understand other faiths. And so that's why we can have anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and things like that, because people don't know each other. And so doing this kind of work is really important to me for that reason.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just a mute. Ron, you want to share?
Take the other answers everyone's given. I first got involved, it was Long Beach Council of Churches.
Yes.
And I had family members that were in other Christian backgrounds. And so for me, it was a way of learning more about the other Christian backgrounds. And I appreciated that we could come together as Christian groups. And then we had, I lived in West Los Angeles when I was in junior high and first part of high school, and I didn't get the Jewish holidays, and I really thought I should get Jewish holidays too. But I got to know a lot of people that were Jewish, and one of our things our junior high group did at our congregational church was to go visit the Jewish community on Friday night at one of the temples down the street on Westwood Boulevard. And I was so grateful for that opportunity. So I've been grateful that now that we're interfaith, that I've been able to learn about a lot of other faiths I didn't know anything about before. And I have to be honest with you all, my pastor back when was, and may have told you this before, was the only person that voted against us going from ecumenical to interfaith. Mm-hmm. And so my congregation has a rule that we're not supposed to be affiliated with non-Christian organizations. Well, I think we went from being one of the largest givers to this organization to giving nothing. And so I'm thankful for the little amount that we're able to give now. And I'm looking forward to getting our congregation more involved. And we have different pastors now, and being able to express to the other people, and especially the social action people in our congregation, about what it's meant to me to be involved in an interfaith organization. And I've been thankful for the opportunity to go to those special times when people share their faith. And for the most part, they've done it non-acrimoniously. That's been very helpful. So I think that's probably, I could go on for hours, but I think those going on for hours are why I'm going to still be here. But I'm here because I think I came back to the board because I represent the Peace and Justice Committee, or the Justice and Peace Committee, and that's how come I've been here, and that's been what I've been. So that's why I represent that committee, but I try to take back to them what I've learned here.
And I think the fact that you're also part of this organization, knowing that, you may be part of a congregation that's not quite there yet in terms of, understanding what we're all about. I think that's really, I think that's really powerful. And I thank you for that. And, Patty mentioned something about, how we learn from one another. And Richards was talking about how there's so many similarities that we share, and it's, my experience being in this, it's such a testament. Patty talked about like my dream of having a family. I mean, it was a collective dream. I remember the process of becoming pregnant, and then I had a really tough pregnancy. And I tell you, my SCIC family was there with me every single step of the way, where every day they were checking on me. People were praying for me that I didn't even, congregations of people. And I think that's so powerful. Even when I was in the hospital, I had people, and I think that, to me, like, that's what's so beautiful about this. And then what Richard said, there's so many similarities that we share. And, I want to end with one thing, or not just my part of it, is, Marilyn was talking about how, it goes really, like, it's not even tolerate, it's we accept one another, right? And they become part of who we are. And in little ways, like, if for those of you who joined us this morning, you'll notice that I changed my scarf. And one of the precise reasons I changed my scarf is because Marilyn plays such an integral part in my life, and I love her and I respect her, and I know she's a devout Lutheran, and that's that, to each its own. But I know she loves my scarves, and I know that she loves colorful scarves and bright scarves, and so I was like, oh, Marilyn's gonna be there, I have to wear something that she's gonna like. But even that, right? And I think that's what I think this council, what's so beautiful is it allows us to put a human face to things that we may not understand. It puts a human face to what it means to be a Catholic. I saw Richard as he mourned the loss of his wife, right? As he continues to do so. And I hope that we can play a part in that. I saw Marilyn going through health hardships. I saw Patty when her father, had COVID and going through that journey, and Susan going through her personal, there's so many things, and we become part of one another's lives. And I think that's a really powerful thing. So sorry, Sarah, I think you wanted to add to this as well.
Actually, what I was thinking was, yeah, I'd love to add to it, but I know I want to respect everyone's time as well. We have some other board members waiting to hop on to the call.
Yay!
So maybe this is a good opportunity where if some of us have to leave, that is okay. You're welcome to share a closing word, and then we can introduce the board members that are waiting to log in. How does that sound? Marianne?
So can I just mention that as a United Methodist, one of our major mottos is open minds, open hearts, and open doors. And I feel that this council's, among many things, has been a way for me to help fulfill part of that mission that we have of connecting with the world. And so I'm just so grateful to all of you for your friendship and everything else.
And Kenji agrees.
Kenji agrees.
Sarah, I need to leave. I'm going to have some physical therapy now, but I just wanted to say that with Ron, I was part of the Council of Churches and then the Ecumenical Council. And I remember it was an older Jewish rabbi that came to us and said, and maybe you remember that, Ron, came to us and said, we needed to change our motto because we needed to be more inclusive. And that was the beginning of us going interfaith. So thank you all. I'm going to leave you now, and bless you all.
Thank you.
Marilyn, thank you so much. And you are such a champion, South Coast Interfaith Council. Am I right, Milia? Thank you so much for, what is that?
100%. Absolutely. You're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, whenever we have a fundraising goal or an organizing goal, Marilyn just, sets the goal so high, and she's very inspiring for the rest. Marilyn, thank you so much.
And she was talking about that rabbi. I think, Susan, did you know? I think she's referring to Rabbi Lee, who is actually a rabbi from Temple Bethel years and years and years ago. May his memory be a blessing. He's passed away since then. But because I remember in just understanding the history of the council. So yeah, that he's definitely been part of our family for the last 63 years now.
The thing, the relationship.
He was the rabbi at Temple Bethel for over 40 years. He was when I first joined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I guess for me, for closing, is that the work that we do, especially right now, especially in the way our country is going right now, is so very important. And I'm so proud of the programs, how we've been able to pivot, put so many things online, provide learning opportunities, provide fellowship opportunities and discussions online for people to better get to know each other. And so I hope that the people that are watching this will give what they can, because we appreciate it so much, and it enables us to do the work, to keep doing the work we do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
Hey, I think we need to see who this Sam Schulman and Carol is. Please reveal yourself.
Richard, Ron, and Patty, you guys are able to stay, which would be awesome.
Yeah, Richard, Patty, can you guys? All right.
Carol.
Just turn my camera off and then.
Oh, no, it's okay. Turn your camera on. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Amelia, should we do the dance in the middle? Or I forgot about that.
Dance. How can we forget about the dance? Yes. We're gonna, Cheryl, reveal yourself. Yes. And Cheryl, reveal yourself through the whole process, please.
No, this is for the board. I'm not on the board.
No, it's okay. But yes, Cheryl, so we have another dance, do we?
Yes, we do. So let me share with everybody. Just a second.
This is in our celebrating us reaching our goal almost. Yay.
Okay, so the story with the dances is that my family wanted to make something fun to help celebrate Long Beach Gives, and I especially love being in my dinosaur costume, and so we decided to make some multicultural dances to celebrate the multicultural nature of SCIC. And so if you didn't see it this morning, we had swing dancing, and right now we're going to have samba.
Yeah, hey. Samba as you've never seen it before.
So it'll start out with an explanation and an example of what actual samba is before you get to the dinosaur part. So here we go. Let me know if you can see it.
Cheryl, can I ask you to turn up the volume?
Turn it up.
Yes, please. Yay!
Ta-da!
Hey, that is no easy feat, getting in those costumes alone and then having to do dancing like that. So kudos to you and your daughters and your family.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I don't know how, I'm not that coordinated on my actual feet with my regular body. So I cannot even begin to imagine coordinating the dinosaur body. So who was in that dance? Which
Those
family
were
member?
my daughters that were in that dance.
Wow. And I love that they're smiling the whole time.
You can't not be joyful inside a dinosaur costume. It's just, it goes against the grain. So
I think dinosaur costume sales are going to go up today.
Yes.
Also, I'm so excited to see more of our board members present here. Thank you for joining us, Carol and Sam, and thank you for staying with us, Richard, Patty, and Ron. So right before you guys joined, I had asked this really fascinating question that honestly we could spend all day talking about. Amelia, did you want to repeat your question?
Yeah, sure. I was just telling that a lot of people, even when I joined the council, we had some individuals who actually literally they had emailed me, not just from the Muslim community, from other communities as well, saying, oh, aren't you afraid that your engagement or being part of this interfaith council is something that's going to somehow negatively impact your own faith or make your faith like water down your faith, right? And my experience has been the complete opposite. So I wanted to ask for our board members, our two new board members who have joined us, Sam, who's a member of the Jewish community, and Carol, who's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I wanted to ask them, what has been your experience? Do you feel like it has somehow compromised your faith? Or if not, how has it not? Or how has it enriched it?
Who's gonna go first?
Well, you want to start?
Sure, go ahead. Or Carol. Oh, he yielded to you, Carol. He yielded to you.
There we go. Okay, thanks, Sam. I agree with comments that were made previously by our other board members that it has just been such an enriching experience to be able to get to know more about other religions by knowing people that belong to those other religions. And I live in a pretty religiously diverse neighborhood, so I've had that to some extent with my neighbors, but not to the extent with all the different religious or faith groups that we have here on the board, and not just in the board, but in our membership. And it has been just very enlightening and wonderful for me to learn and break down some prejudices.
Aww.
I'm a crybaby too. Sorry, I just kept saying, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry in this thing. No luck. Anyway, just to be able to break down, thoughts of things of people I didn't, or religions I didn't really know anything about, or maybe I had presuppositions of what their beliefs were, or what those people might be like, and it's totally not true. And so it's just been a great experience that has greatly expanded my outlook, and my circle of friends is huge. And I have found really that all the faith traditions, even ones I had never heard of before, basically all believe the same base principle of living life with love and equality among all people, and giving kindness and service, and to others, even if they have other parts of their faith that I may just think, well, that isn't in my wheelhouse, but if it's in yours, great. But just the basic principles that we all live by are the same. And as we get to know one another and work together, the world is just a better place.
Aw. And we're,
Carol,
I know, I feel like giving you a big hug, virtual hug, Carol, virtual hug. Yay.
Millie, I just realized we were talking about Carol the other day in one of our, was that a live? Or were we talking private?
Morning, Sarah, that was, I know, it's like, yeah, we were just talking about Carol this morning in a good, yeah. And
We
we're
love
actually in fact just talking about that, how, you know, for so many of us, I think when we join the council and we encounter people of different faiths and cultures and ethnicities and races, it also makes us aware of our own biases and our own stereotypes that we never thought we had, you know, and that's really powerful because it makes us check ourselves and be like, wow. And then we think, if we have this, can you just imagine what, you know, the average person walking down the street must have in terms of, you know, implicit bias and things like that. So you're right, Carol. I continue to be surprised at what I don't know, and, you know, and what I learn every day by encountering people of different faiths, by going, you know, I haven't been able to go to church or synagogue or temple for what, almost, my God, 6-7 months now. But that's one of my favorite things that that I get to do in this position, because, you know, I see how people practice their faith, and it's really powerful. You know, it's really, and who am I to judge, right? I'm trying to get it right myself, my friends. You know? So thank you, Carol, for sharing that. It was really beautiful. Sam, if you don't cry, you're gonna have to just
I know. How do I follow that up?
just
Thank you for sharing that, Carol. I really appreciated that perspective and that point of view. And I agree with Richard. This is a very great question. And I think Richard's response, as was Susan's and yours, Milia, was really, really how I feel. I have the same sentiments. And it just boils down to being a good person. In my global world cultures class, we are learning about Zoroastrianism. Of course, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. And you can just see so many commonalities of different faiths where it's just be the best person that you can be. And to be honest with you guys, I'd say culturally I'm Jewish, but as a faith, my faith is interfaith. My worldview is interfaith. My passion is learning about, you know, how people live their lives and their cultures and their traditions. It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much. You know, and I feel old when Sam talks, because I met Sam when he was a wee little baby. Now, he was one of the students in our Interfaith Youth Leadership Initiative, you know, and that was, how many years ago was that, Sam?
You're gonna make me feel old now.
How many years was that?
2015, around then, I believe.
5 years ago. Oh my goodness gracious. And look at him now, full head of hair, beard. I mean, so no, but in all seriousness, I've seen Sam really just kind of, I have seen his progression, and like seeing how he's developed into this amazing young man who, you know, has such a quest to learn about new faiths and encounter new people. And you know, Marla, you did well, my friend, his mother, who we love equally. And so thank you for sharing that, Sam.
Love you guys.
I wanted to tackle that one too. When I think about religion, to me, it seems like guidance or tools with which we can connect and serve God through connecting and serving other human beings. And so there's lots of different tools. Like Carol, I like that wheelhouse, right? We all have different tools in our wheelhouse, but we're all trying to get at the same thing, right? Like my ultimate goal is to find my way to God somehow. And as you guys know, in my previous life, I was a dentist. And when you're in dental school, they have you cut dental crowns. That's like the bread and butter of dentistry. And I remember my first crown, it was terrible. I remember telling my instructor, I don't think I'm going to do crowns. And the dentist just looked at me, honey, this is your bread and butter. You have to be able to cut a crown. But you know, when you finish dental school, you taught one way of cutting a dental crown, right? They need you to master one way of cutting the perfect dental crown. And when you first start practicing dentistry, that's your go-to method, right? And then as you kind of get into it, you start taking courses and to learn other ways of cutting dental crowns, right? So as I gain my confidence as a dentist, I might have taken another class and learned another technique, right? I learn another technique and I say, well, you know, I like some parts of this new technique, but I like some parts of my old technique, right? And it just adds to how I'm able to serve my patients, right? But when you first start, you're kind of like, you kind of stick with what you know. And it's kind of scary thinking about that there's other ways to do the same thing. And to me, that's what interfaith work has been. It's been, you know, if I'm sincere wanting to connect and relate with God, then yes, I want to know, how does Sam connect? How does Ron connect? How do Carol, Patty, and Richard connect to God? How do they find that meaning? Because that helps me better understand my conversation, my connection with God. And I've learned many neat, like for example, the Jewish community, their burial practices are so similar to Muslims. However, their framing, we do very similar things. You got to bury within 24 hours. You have to wash the body in nearly identical ways. You keep the body company, right? But Muslims over time approach those for kind of nowadays. It's not never been the same, and there's a lot of diversity in the Muslim community, but we kind of approach it legally, that these are things that we need to do because they've been prescribed to us. Some of my Jewish friends, when they were talking about burial practices, they were talking about how we do these same steps because out of concern for the people who are mourning. It was more about caring for those who are mourning. It was the exact same steps, but they were approaching it from a different perspective. And it added so much more depth and meaning for me in my own Muslim practice of burial. And since then I did participate. I was lucky to participate in a burial, a very moving, very emotional. I'm not going to try to go there too much because then I'm going to be crying too. But yeah, for me, it's not tolerance. It's not about just being able to live with one another. I have discovered aspects of my own spirit through learning from everybody else here. So I'm very grateful to know you all and to meaningfully engage with one another. That was a great question, Milia.
Thank you.
Not as fun as the apocalypse questions, but
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, we need to go back to like, you know, do you like chocolate or vanilla? I think that's a good time. But I do want to end with one thing. I think one of the things that we all shared about is about the differences that we have. And one of the things that I love about this council, truly and sincerely, is the fact that we don't try to negate our differences. We're not sitting here and saying that, hey, we're all one, you know, we're all the same people. I mean, look at this beautiful diversity that you even see on the screen in front of you. Clearly that's not true, right? So what I love about this council is the fact that, you know, we say we celebrate our differences, right? And we unite because of them. Sam said this beautifully in a recent video that he did, that, you know, we unite together, not despite our differences, but because of our differences. Recognizing that, Patty, you are who you are because you're a Buddhist. Richard, you are who you are, you're a Catholic. Sam, who you are, you're Jewish, culturally or not, you know, things like that. At the end of the day, we respect that. And we ask that, you know, everybody respects each other, and we celebrate the fact that we can have these differences and that we can still live a united life, and that we can use our faith to better serve the community and to make this world a better place in our little corner, which will have ripple effects. And I think that's really something invaluable. So thank you for all of you for, you know, being part of our council and our family. And Sarah, I need one of your funny questions now.
Yeah, I feel bad because Carol and Sam didn't get to, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What's your next question, Sardine?
Well, I don't know. This is something I've thought about, right? Like if I get to make it to the next life, whatever that may be, I always think about what age I want to come back as, right? And I kind of, and it's really hard because like my maturity wasn't there at 21 or 23, but I was in really good, you know, like my body was in, I could move a lot faster. I could run a lot longer. I could work a lot longer. But sometimes I daydream about that what if I came back as a kid, right? Carefree without a concern in the world. I wonder if it would be awkward to run into my own kids in heaven. Would that be weird? So when you guys think about it, maybe you can answer it from your faith perspective. When you think about what's next from here, what do you think is next for all of us? What do you hope is next for all of us?
Wow, we have a little glimpse into Sarah's mind through these questions. I'm not
Very
sure
deep
whether I should be-
philosophical question.
No, I'm not sure whether I should be scared or
Go ahead, Sam. Sam looks like he's ready to jump in.
Well, obviously we don't really know. We can't tell. However, it's fun to speculate. So what I would say is we don't necessarily take on like a human life form, but I can see us living out different forms of life. And I see myself definitely coming back as either like a bobcat or like a lynx or some sort of cat-like creature.
That is awesome. See, I'm not the only person that's thought about this.
Right,
Of course.
I said corrected.
Some sort of feline.
Kind of feline. Interesting. Carol.
I definitely believe in an afterlife, and my faith belief is that in an afterlife we are a person as we are here, and that our spirit that's within us lived with God before we were born, came to earth for a reason, and now then we go back to that same God again and live there in as you said, what age, whatever the ideal age would be, which for me would not be as a child, because I don't see children as carefree. They have worries. Their worries are just different than ours.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have as much power over what they can do with their worries. But I don't know. I would guess, midlife. I'm not sure exactly what age, but whatever the perfect age is, because the scriptures say that we'll come, be perfect and have not a hair of the head will be lost, which for some people will have more meaning than for others.
You know what's really interesting is that in the Quran, we are given the age of 40 as reaching maturity, which I think is awesome. Everything before that is just child's play. You're just practicing. It's a great approach. I only just turned 40.
Me too.
A year ago or 2 years ago, I don't remember. Pastor Steve just joined us. Hi, Pastor Steve.
Hello,
Hi.
Pastor Steve.
Pastor Steve
Hi.
joined our board. Pastor Steve's timing was just perfect. He joined the board, accepted the position, and entered the pandemic. I can't help but feel like the two things are connected somehow.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. That's, yeah, I bring the plagues.
Oh, no.
Right before you logged in, I think this is fantastic to have a Unitarian Universalist perspective on this. We were
Yes.
talking about what we think is next after this life. We were speculating. So Sam says he wants to come back in the next life as a bobcat, some kind of a feline creature.
Okay.
Carol was sharing her faith perspective and talking about in the next life being with God as she was before life on this earth in a form similar to her human form. What about you? What do you envision? What's next for us, Pastor?
What do I think happens or what do I hope happens? You pick.
You can answer both.
I would say this. I think that nothing happens and we just die. I think that's probably a 90% chance of what happens, and that the consciousness that we have in this world just dissipates as we biologically deteriorate. I hope that's not what happens. And I hope that all of the existence of ghosts and supernatural phenomenon and denouement and serendipity and all of these things that, give us psychic phenomenon, past lives, I hope that that's somehow quirky, unreliable evidence of a deeper truth that we have souls and transcend, or either move into extinction, like the Buddhists would say, into a grand awareness, or we carry on in a Western sense with some sense of individuality into a perfect place. But my bet is worm meat.
Now, does your faith tradition, is that the perspective of your faith tradition that you're sharing, or is that a personal perspective?
We're a weird faith because we've kind of chosen to be a religion that takes no stances on supernatural matters.
Okay. So
We
what
move,
are, Mhm.
we move from sort of the Judeo-Christian perspective to kind of realizing that that's speculative, and we kind of embody the values of the Judeo-Christian, you know, the trust and faithfulness, honesty, all the sort of good stuff, without carrying on necessarily a faith in God or in anything that sort of remains unseen.
So it's not a creedal.
Not at all. We're absolutely non-creedal, except that we're sort of creedal about tolerance, and about 95% of us are liberal Democrats.
We will talk about that right now.
That's another session in itself.
That's another session. We don't, you know, I'm not, you know, not advocating for that.
Get really excited there.
Ron, settle down. We're not talking about that right now. Settle down, my friend.
Yeah, we'll let it go. So I wish I believed more, but I don't.
But you know, that's interesting, right? Because look, we all kind of have all these different faith traditions that
Sure.
we have all these different beliefs. But I think what's powerful is that we still choose to like be together, right? It's a conscious decision that we have to be together. And I think that's a testament to what the council is. And, you know, I remember when I was in grad school and I studied theology, and I always say what's the word, mixed blessing, right? Because it was one of the hardest things I ever did in my entire life. I'll be,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
I often joke a lot, but man, those 3 years kicked my butt in many ways. You know, I did well, praise God, I did good in terms of a grade or whatever, but in terms of my mind, wow, it was everywhere, because I studied theology of world religion. So you had to study all these scriptures and all these things. And I remember one time I was talking to one of the imams that I really hold highly, and I said, I don't know. You know, it's like, I don't know. There's all this. And I remember what he said, and I think this rings true for those of us who believe in a higher being, you know, a God, a higher spirit, whatever it may be. And I remember he said, you know, as Muslims, we pray 5 times a day. And he goes, you know what? The one supplication that you should make, Melia, and not just because you're in grad school, but throughout your life, you should, you know, bow down to God and say, you know, God, allow me to live in a way that is pleasing to you, and guide me in that path, right? So it's kind of like, and I think that's the thing. I think so much of our individual faith practices is this relationship between us and the divine, and how we understand that to be or not to be, you know. But what unites us is the fact that we want to take these faith principles and we want to do something with it. We want to utilize it to make not only make our own selves better, but also make this world that we're living in better. And I think this council allows for those platforms for that to happen. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm grateful that people continue to support us so that we continue to grow.
Amelia, have you potty trained Zahra yet?
You know what? I don't want to talk about that. That's
you said grad school was the most difficult thing. Wait till you do potty training. That was
I do want to say that we do have a potty in the middle of the living room, which she now thinks is her chair. So I'm not sure how we're going to make that transition to, it is a chair, but I mean, so talk about
It's a sacred chair.
I mean, she very happily sits in her chair and reads a book, and that can happen. So, so prayers, my friend. This is where interfaith prayers come in.
Yes. Well, you know, I think this is around that time where to express our gratitude. Aren't we going to be giving away another gift to a supporting community member?
I think so, Cheryl. I think this is when we thank our supporters, and one of our supporters and what do we have right now? We have,
for this session, we have a $100 gift certificate to the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, cheesecake sounds amazing.
And The lucky supporter is Sharon Sheffield of Long Beach.
Yay! Sharon, congratulations! Woohoo! If you are not watching right now, we will contact you and make sure that you receive this little token of appreciation for us. Oh my God, Pastor Steve was so upset that he didn't get it. He just left. Steve, come now.
Now craving. I think as we close, maybe everyone can share their favorite because I'm really in the mood for cheesecake now. My favorite cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory is dulce de leche. That's my favorite. Who else wants to share a favorite cake? I will popcorn it. Richard, you can make it if you're not into cheesecake.
I just love cheesecake. I don't care what kind it is. I just love give it. I'll go Cheesecake Factory and get the chocolate cheesecake. I love that. Anything chocolate I love, but any cheesecake. I just love cheesecake.
Awesome. Patty, what about you?
Okay, I don't know if this is a cheesecake, but I remember my favorite ice cream from the time I was in junior high school was blueberry cheesecake ice cream.
Oh, wow. I never had that.
Amelia, you're from Missouri. You must have had frozen custard a million times, right?
Yes.
Do you have Sheridan's in Fulton?
We had Dairy Queen.
Did they do frozen custard?
They did, I think so. I don't recall though. But
so Patty reminded me they have out there in Missouri. It's called. My husband gets it. It's a blueberry concrete. It's a frozen.
Oh yeah. Sonic has that. Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Hearing Patty's description. Sam, you sound really excited to talk cheesecake.
I am. I'm not a huge fan of cheesecake, I must be honest, but I work at Ben & Jerry's, so the strawberry cheesecake is my go-to.
Which Ben & Jerry's do you work at?
At the Long Beach Town Center, although obviously I haven't really been working recently. So.
Do we get a friends and family discount?
When I return, I'd love to, yeah.
Do you deliver?
I don't know your parts.
Yes, I know.
Ron, what about you? Are you a cheesecake guy? Ron, you're muted. Still muted.
Imagine that. This is one of the few times I'm ever muted. I'm just regular old chocolate chip that you get over here at the drugstore.
Oh.
The chocolate chip cheesecake?
Oh, chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, we're shifting to ice cream, it looks like. Okay, so ice cream or cheesecake. So if you had to pick.
Because I don't have cheesecake that often.
So between ice cream and cheesecake, you would go with ice cream.
Definitely.
Millie, are you taking notes? We got to remember these for when we go back to meetings.
Exactly. So many meetings and so many good things to have. Absolutely.
Yeah. Carol, what about you? Cheesecake or ice cream, and which flavors?
I love cheesecake. And when my husband and I got married, he loves shrimp and I don't. So we made a deal that I would always give him my shrimp if he always gave me his cheesecake, because he doesn't like cheesecake either. So whenever I go to a big dinner, I always hope they have cheesecake for dessert. My favorite is probably plain with fruit topping of some kind, or I like the Cheesecake Factory's one that has like lemon. It's like cheesecake with a layer of lemon or something on it. I don't know what it's called.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
That sounds really good. People are going to think we are not affiliated with Cheesecake Factory, to clarify.
No, we're not getting anything.
There.
We're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't think Steve has gone.
Nope.
I like sweets. I'm not fussy.
Yeah.
So
I try not to eat them.
ice cream or cheesecake, which one would you for?
Ice cream,
And what flavor?
anything.
There you go. He's a man after my heart. Sadly, I like sugar. So anything that has sugar in it is my favorite. So,
Yep.
Makes it for a difficult life, but it's a first world problem. So I'm not going to complain about that. But
My theory is that it's about equity, food equity, right? So God created some foods that just taste so good, right? But all the other foods in the world would be neglected and not consumed. So he's packed those with nutrients. So that's why we have healthy foods and tasty foods with very little overlap.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Cheryl, what about you? We know you're still here.
I can go cheesecake or ice cream and anything with chocolate.
People after my heart.
Yeah, chocolate,
That's why I love this board.
chocolate.
All right. Wow. This was, my goodness, we even went over time. It's like 1:43. I didn't even realize that. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, my kids are supposed to be finishing up their science worksheet. I highly doubt I'm gonna find them sitting with the worksheet right now.
So what do we have next? We have 5 o'clock. Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. So 5 o'clock. Well, first and foremost, thank you.
5 or 5:30?
You look that up and let me know. 5:30?
5.
5? Okay, 5
5
o'clock.
to 5:30.
5 to 5:30. We have Cantor Elon Davidson, who is a past president, and we have Dr. Rini Ghosh, who's another past president from the Jewish community and from the Hindu community, and we'll be engaging in a conversation similar to this. But for this, thank you guys. Thank you, Ron and Steve and Carol and Sam and Patty and Richard and Marilyn and Susan, who was here before. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, and Sarah, of course, for your questions. We had a little glimpse into your mind with your questions, so that was great. So and we did our dancing, we did our gift, and then at 5 o'clock we'll have another beautiful, amazing dance, and we'll also share some gifts at that time. And then we have our program at 7, Sarah, is that correct? The Art of Faith?
6:30.
6:30. Thank you, Cheryl. We have it at 6:30 where we have music and poetry from a variety of different faiths, which will be really beautiful. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we'll conclude tonight at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock with, kind of like as is the nature and true to our nature, with prayers. We have individuals from the Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Baha'i, Sikh, and I think I have another person who committed, but I just have to double check. So we hope, Buddhist, of course, Miss Patty, of course, and the Buddhist faith tradition. So we hope that you'll join us for all those as well. Sarah, any other parting words before we?
If people in the Facebook world want to see another dino dance, help us reach our goal today. Amelia, how much more do we need to raise?
So before we started this hour, we were at 13,965. So Cheryl, I don't know if that has changed. I don't know if you're able to give us a little update. I think Cheryl.
And we're trying to reach 15.
Just a second. Let me take a look.
Okay, so you have until midnight tonight, and thank you for all of the individuals who have supported us, for all the individuals who have shared the information about supporting us. We cease to exist without you, and we're so grateful for that. We have until midnight tonight to raise remaining funds. What a treat and a great, wonderful thing it would be if we could surpass our second goal. Our initial goal was 10,000, and we surpassed that, and so now we have our new goal of 15,000, and so that's what we're trying to meet and or surpass. And Cheryl, do we have a updated number?
We are currently at 14,265.
All right, 14,000. Yay! So we're almost there, guys. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and please continue to support us and join us again at, I forgot the time.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Yes, thank
5,
you.
6:30, and 9. Our next
5, 6:30, and 9. And that is why Cheryl is who Cheryl is. And I cannot do what I do without her. So thank you. Sarah, any other words before we say good afternoon?
Thank you, Long Beach Gives, for this opportunity and for selecting the South Coast Interfaith Council. This has been such a treat today. Everybody enjoy the next 3 hours, and then we'll see you back here.
All right. Have a good afternoon, guys. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care.